You only watch part of it. Just like all of the most professional reviewers. Yeah. The news story, I think, is fun. I really went all out on the quiz section for this one. I think it's going to be good. And since we have two people, it can actually be a contest this time.
I have not either.
I don't know, Will.
And we're live!
Haha.
Dinner is ready.
Dinner is ready.
Dinner is ready.
Hey, everybody! We're back.
Hi.
I'm ready. Watch out, world. Well, the rumors are true. I managed to survive my morning stream of, oh my god, are you wearing a Reagan t-shirt?
Yeah, you're goddamn right I am.
Nice! I survived.
This is
Oh, sorry, what?
like the dumbest shirt I could find. But
It's
I
not
really
dumb.
like it. I love Reagan.
Reagan is awesome. But I survived the morning stream of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Nice.
That game is definitely still a piece of shit. So I'm going to pause on it because it made me so ill I had to stop and vomit. That when we finish Evil Within 2, will take over the helm and I will sit to the left of him making shitty, unhelpful commentary.
Yep.
Nice.
But until that day, we're here for more podcasts!
Indeed.
And Robert, before we get into our main topic of wrestling, all that is beautiful, you have the starting bit of stuff.
I do. So this is part news story, part nerd deep dive.
All right.
Because the news story isn't that big. It's a story about two things that I hate that have decided to put a baby into one another in order to
What?
spawn an even worse abomination.
They put a baby into each other?
That is
Yep.
what he said.
Mm-hmm. I chose my words very carefully.
Fair enough.
And those two things are shitty attempts to make the lightning of the Lego movie strike again, and fucking Funko Pops.
Oh man, are they making a Funko Pop movie?
They're making a Funko Pop movie, or at least it's in production.
All right.
Gross.
Yeah. It,
We should review fan fiction live.
that would actually be pretty fun.
That would be fun, but I also feel like we'd be really mean. Well, I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
be really mean to someone who's just trying to do their best.
That's true. Like, I don't think it's possible for us to be punching down, but at the same time, like...
Unless our first piece of fan fiction is full life consequences, then I'll do that one.
Yeah.
But that is a
Yeah.
good suggestion. But anyway, so this terrible Funko Pop movie.
Yeah, so like one of the things that's weird about it is that it could be the first officially licensed movie that would involve a crossover between Marvel and DC. Which
Did that not happen in the Lego movie?
I don't think so, because I don't think Lego did any Marvel things at the time. They may have some now, but
Okay,
I'm pretty sure it was only like Batman who was in the Lego movie.
Because there's a whole bunch of DC in that one. For some reason, I thought
Yeah.
there was more. All right, cool. Well, that's, I guess, a good thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so I did a bit of a deep dive into the weird world of Funko Pops.
Okay.
Because there are so many Funko Pops. It's unbelievable. And so our quiz today, it's the same rules as always. There's going to be four real ones and one that I made up, and you have to figure out which.
Okay.
But Funkos, there's so many of them, so that these are grouped by categories. So our first category is Funko Pops of various like commercial mascots.
Okay.
And just for the sake of making the evaluation of whether they're real or not even weirder, I've also included their current market value. So we have the Energizer Bunny, $11. Colonel Sanders, $10. The bunny-shaped Peeps that they sell at Easter, $7. Captain Crunch, $8. And Aaron Esurance, $43.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do my little bit now where I talk about what my decision's coming from, and Will's gonna.
Yeah.
Will, you need to just zoom in your camera more.
How do I do that on Discord?
You're just so far away. I'm sure if you just go to your settings, well, I can't do it on mine because it would change what the stream is. You just go to your video settings, and if you click, it should bring up that little configure window like for OBS. It's the same thing. But the price seems weird, but I have for sure seen Captain Crunch would be a lucky. Oh my god, that's a good one, Mr. Perp. Sorry, I have Aaron Esurance is the Esurance lady, right?
Yeah.
I've seen a Funko Pop of her. Is the thing that there is not a Funko Pop of this? Is that what the trick is, or that the price is crazy?
Oh, no. So I did not think there was an Aaron Esurance Funko Pop.
Was that the one you made
I
up?
made that up. Yeah, that's the one I made up.
No, there is
We'll just call that question null and void.
Hold on, but before I do that, let me check because I am almost Esurance. Aaron Esurance Funko Pop.
It's a real thing?
Okay. There is not an official one, no, but there is a real one. There is a model of her in a Funko Pop that she has.
Okay. I'm gonna say then I was on the side of... Yeah. I don't know. We'll call that question null and void.
Okay, sorry. I was like, because I had seen that picture of her holding that, and I was like, oh.
Both of you get half a point.
Yes! Wait, Will didn't do anything.
Yep.
Oh, I was gonna guess Captain Crunch.
I get his other
okay.
half a point. I'm just kidding.
So our next category is beloved cultural icons who are dead and who I'm fairly certain probably would not want to have been licensed as Funko Pops.
Oh man, is Gandhi
I
one
can't
of
figure
these?
how to zoom in my camera.
That's okay.
You Google it.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we've got Alfred Hitchcock, $17. Steve Irwin, $11. Robin Williams, $13. Amy Winehouse, $15. And Princess Diana, $9.
Who was the second one?
Steve Irwin,
I would believe there's a Steve Irwin one.
Yeah, who was the third one then?
Robin Williams.
Yeah, I feel like that could even be one.
I am conflicted between Robin Williams and Amy Winehouse because the Amy Winehouse one feels like they wouldn't do that because she died of a drug overdose or whatever. So, the Princess Diana one just feels way too like. I don't think people really. Sorry, the royal family of England. I don't think pop culture cares enough about Princess Diana anymore for there to be a Princess Diana one. But at the same time, you said that one last, and you said Aaron Esurance last time, and that was supposed to be the trick. It's like a Scantron trick.
You're getting really meta on your evaluation techniques here.
It's not meta. It's the you have to evaluate who made the evaluation, who made the test.
That is meta gaming.
No, you're
playing
crazy.
the game based on the way that other people play the game.
Is that what? Well, we're not meta gaming right now. I'm drunk. I guess to me, it's all part of the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
All right, I'm gonna lock in with Princess Diana just
you're
because.
locking in with Princess Diana. Will, who are you gonna go with?
Who was the first one again?
Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred Hitchcock, I could, because he stands in a very specific way. I could see him making the Funko Pop of him standing.
I'm gonna say Amy Winehouse.
Say Amy Winehouse. Well, you're both wrong. It was Robin Williams.
Huh?
Which I'm glad he wasn't a real one. That's like actually kind of a little bit of Robin Williams history that I'll throw in, is he had some pretty big beef with Disney because when he did the voice of Genie on Aladdin, his like one of his big stipulations was that he did not want them to make Genie toys and use his voice to sell toys to children. So he would not have been thrilled about a Funko Pop.
Is Funko Pop owned by Disney?
No, but I don't think he would have wanted his likeness to be used for any toy, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
But Mr. Perp has actually used a very relevant emote because our next category is Bob Ross Funko Pops.
Oh no.
Nice.
Drug overdose aren't bad. It just means drugs aren't your thing.
So we've got Bob Ross, but he's only half painted, $10. Bob Ross with a painting of a happy tree, $17. Bob Ross, but it's Deadpool, $12. Bob Ross with a raccoon, $10. And Bob Ross with a baby owl, $24.
Okay, well, gonna do my thing again. The Deadpool one where he is Bob Ross is a pretty significant shtick that he does in the comic. So I am almost positive that is a Funko Pop.
Okay.
That's it. That's my only thing. Any of these other ones could be fucking whatever. Who cares? It's Bob Ross. Give him an out. He would hold anything. He's a marvelous person. I don't even remember what the other... I stopped listening when you said the Deadpool one because I had to finish making my list for my quiz. Sorry.
So we have half painted, with a happy tree, with a raccoon, or with a baby owl.
What does half painted mean? Like just one half of him is colored?
Yeah, like one half of him is in color and the other half is in like grayscale.
That one seems really cool. I'm gonna say the one with the baby owl, just because I've never seen him with an owl in any of his things, but I didn't really watch a lot of Bob Ross. What about
say raccoon?
You saying raccoon? Oh man, you're both wrong again. It was the happy tree.
What do you mean with the happy tree? Okay, that's.
I said Bob Ross with a painting of a happy tree.
Okay, that is. Oh yeah, you did say that. I'm just because you said just happy tree the last time we did the quick rundown. I was like, oh, was he making a joke that Bob Ross was a happy tree and I misunderstood it? But that is weird. His whole deal is with a happy tree thing.
Yeah, or at least like that's the whole meme that people do with him. But yeah, the baby owl actually has a name. It's Hoot, the baby owl.
That is highly creative.
I just found it funny that there were so many Bob Ross Funko Pops.
That is a lot.
Our
Bob
next
Ross
category.
He's a Christian, not a child. What? Okay.
So our next category is Deadpool Funko Pops because there's a fuckload of them. Yep. So we got Deadpool with a chimichanga, $24. Deadpool as a mermaid, $29. Deadpool, but he has a screwdriver jammed into his skull, $15. Deadpool riding a unicorn, $56. And Deadpool in a chicken suit and holding a bucket of fried chicken, $29.
Mermaid Deadpool.
What was that, Will?
Mermaid Deadpool.
You're going mermaid?
Yep.
All right.
He's been a mermaid in the comics. He's definitely rode a unicorn in the comics because that's where he killed all the DC universe. I mean the Marvel universe. I wouldn't put it past him to wear a chicken suit and have fried chicken. The screwdriver one is another scene from comics, but I don't know if they'd put that in the Funko Pop because I don't know if they're violent. I'm gonna say the screwdriver one. Sure, fuck it.
All right. Well, you win this one. We're now at CJ 1, Will 0.
Yay.
1.5. I had that half a point from
That's
earlier.
right. 1.5 to 0.5.
What? Why did he get a 0.5 to the thing when he didn't do anything the first time?
Yeah.
This socialism
the
game
question
show is
Nolan
bullshit. All right.
He didn't do anything, but he also didn't ruin my question. So
Who ruined the question?
You did.
you did by saying that the thing that I made up wasn't made up.
I don't know. Do more obscure research on Funko Pops, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. All right. So our next category is Pennywise the Clowns, because
Okay.
there's also a fuckload of Pennywise the Clowns.
Thank you to everyone who is sticking with us as Robert goes through the entire catalog of bullshit collectibles only 5 people care about.
Okay, wait, no, look. I did so much. There are 400 pages on Amazon of Funko Pops. And I didn't go through all 400, but I went through 100 pages of Funko Pops.
That's a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot of research.
How's the art for the game coming along?
I mean, I've been waiting for a script.
Oh, well, I didn't know
I really
that.
have. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We have. I mean, do you want to skip to the final, the double points category?
How many more of these are there?
There's this one, and then double points, and then there's a the last category is ranking the most valuable Funko Pops.
Well, let's just keep going then. This is fine.
Okay.
Will only saw half the movie. This isn't going to last very long.
Yep.
So we have. Oh.
Hmm?
We have Pennywise holding a balloon that says "I heart Derry." Derry's the town that
Yeah.
it is set in. We have Pennywise. Oh, so that one was $12. We
Okay.
have Pennywise, the Tim Curry version, painted in grayscale, $53. Pennywise with a skateboard, $17. Pennywise with a long wig that's obscuring his face, $22. And Pennywise, but he's hanging out with Church, the cat from Pet Cemetery, $26.
I'm going to say the last one because you explained a lot of it.
Same.
Well, you both get a point.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm learning to spot your entries because you do probably the best idea out of all of them, but you also give enough of a hint for people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I mean, who don't know what you're talking about to be like, oh, that's what it is. Like, if you'd have been like, whatever, posing with the cat from Pet Cemetery, I'd have been like, but the fact that you gave me his name, that's what clued me out. Ha!
Okay, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yay!
So, our last category, and Will, you have a chance to come back because the last category is double points, since it was just the weirdest Funkos that I could find, and I could not bring myself to narrow it down, so there's more options than usual.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Yeah, but double points.
That's twice as many points.
Twice as many. So we have Blanche from Golden Girls, $9.
I'd believe that.
Grishnak, the orc from Lord of the Rings, who was in charge of the host of orcs that captured Merry and Pippin, $11. Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men, $18. Joey Fat One from NSYNC, $8. The Witch Doctor from that one episode of Scooby-Doo that had a witch doctor, $9. Monica from Friends, if her head was a turkey, $40. Wendy Torrance from The Shining, $10. And Tommy Vresky, the guy from Die Hard who Bruce Willis killed and wrote on his shirt and then sent him down an elevator, $8.
Ho ho ho, I have a machine gun.
Yep.
The Monica Friends one, I fully believe that is a Funko Pop because that is a pretty famous shot from that show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she accidentally gets a turkey stuck on her head for like a whole episode. The two that I want to pick because of how specific they were from you, and you hadn't had time to know that I thought about that for you to make them less specific, are the orc one and then the what was the other one you said that I was like,
Tommy Vresky, the guy from Die Hard.
yeah. But I also feel you put that on there because it's a real one because we talked about Die Hard.
That could be. And it could also be that I knew that if I just said Tommy Vresky, you'd be like, who the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I had to be specific in order to...
Exactly. So that's why I'm like, oh man, this is a good, tricky, stupid one. Because the one where you're like, oh, the witch doctor, from the episode where there was a witch doctor, I was like, that also seems goofy, but then you were like, $9. And I'm like, it sounds like $9 is like the lowest point of entry to a Funko Pop. And I can almost exactly picture the witch doctor you're talking about from Scooby-Doo because it's used in the intro of every Scooby-Doo episode. It's the one with like, he has like the big voodoo mask on with the open circular mouth. Man. I'm gonna go with the last one then, the Die Hard one, just because I could any of those I could believe because they're stupid. But
Will?
Could you reread 3, 4, and 5?
So 3 was Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. 4 was Joey Fat One from NSYNC. And 5 was the witch doctor from that one episode of Scooby-Doo that had a witch doctor.
I'm gonna say Joey Fat One.
Well, you're both wrong. It was Anton Chigurh.
hold on.
Oh.
Hold on.
I'm pretty sure I looked this one up to make sure. Oh man, am I about to be fucked again here?
Because that was the one where because you said Anton Chigurh, I'm like, I'm almost positive I've seen that one. And he's holding the little gas can thing that he uses to like people's brains out.
Oh no. Oh no.
Nope. All I see is it's not an official one. It is a planned one. That's it's in a fan forum for it because I'm like, I'm pretty sure I saw that picture too. So no, that is not an official one. So that one also counts. But I didn't have a chance on that one because my brain was so sure that there was in fact an Anton Chigurh because he's a very iconic character.
Yeah, he would like make sense for there to be one of him. But yeah, I mean, it could also be one where like I can absolutely see the Coen brothers being like, no, we're not going to license our character for this.
That's true. So many emotes.
All right.
All right.
So our last one is a little bit of a different game. It's not guess the fake one. It's I'm not going to make you rank them all, but these are the most expensive Funko Pops in existence, and you have to guess. I'm going to say which one. You'll get a point for the most expensive and for the least expensive, and then I'll tell you what their actual market values are.
Okay.
So we have Dumbo with clown face paint, like from the movie Dumbo.
Mm-hmm.
We have a holographic Darth Maul. We have Planet Arlia Vegeta. We have glow-in-the-dark Green Lantern. And we have Lotso from Toy Story, but he has fur instead of plastic.
Ooh. I want to say the cheapest one is the Green Lantern one because who gives a shit about Green Lantern, to be honest? Come on. And
I think the cheapest one is the planet one.
The planet one?
The one he said
The
before.
Planet Arlia Vegeta.
I was
Yeah,
going to
that
say
one.
that's my guess for the most expensive one. Or the bear one, but I'm going to go with Vegeta just because nerds.
Okay, so you're locking in Vegeta, most expensive, Green Lantern least.
For me,
Correct?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
What was the last one on the list?
Lotso from Toy Story, but he has fur.
I'm gonna say that one's the most expensive.
All right. And least expensive?
I already said
He said it's the planet Vegeta.
Oh, okay.
We're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Well, you're all wrong.
Oh no!
So the cheapest one is Lotso from Toy Story, at $1,300.
Oh my god.
Second cheapest is Planet Arlia Vegeta,
Oh, dang.
1,400. Glow in the Dark Green Lantern comes in the third spot at 1,670. Holographic Darth Maul is $2,460. And Dumbo with clown face paint is $6,700.
What the hell?
Hmm.
That's so much money.
Yep.
All right. That's weirdly depressing.
Yep. And yeah, that was our news slash deep dive slash mostly just a quiz segment.
Well, it's a little long, I think, to put in the marketing, but this was a good opening bit. It took almost a half an hour.
Yep.
All right, so
Jumbo is a jumbo.
are we ready to move into the meat and potatoes?
Yeah.
All right. Well, for the movie we watched this week, we watched the cinema masterpiece coming out of the year 2000, known as Ready to Rumble, directed by some guy who no one cares about anymore. But before we go, I have my own quiz to start.
Oh.
And we're going to do
okay.
one now, and then I have a second part we'll do later.
All right.
And I'm just, I came with this really original idea where I'm going to have 5 things, and one of them is a made-up thing. And the first category of these is going to be wrestling moves.
All right.
So here they are. I'm going to start off with a softball here. Is the Frankensteiner.
Mm-hmm.
We have the 540 splash, the shooting star suplex, the whirling dervish, and the electric chair drop.
I'm guessing the fake one is the 540 splash.
Okay.
The
William?
fake one is the shooting star suplex.
All right. Well, I will go and I will break down what each of these moves are. The Frankensteiner, as I'm sure William knows, is where you take a seat on your opponent's shoulders, spin 180, and then flip them backwards using all of your force. The whirling dervish is you take your opponent into a reverse headlock from behind and then twist them in a counterclockwise motion away from you to slam their face into the mat. The electric chair drop is where you bring your opponent up onto your shoulders and fall back, normally through a table for panache. The 540 splash
Oh no.
is a move
Yeah.
where you perform 1.5 full somersaults and then land tummy first onto your opponent's tummy from the top rope. And the shooting star suplex is the made-up one.
Yes.
And we'll have another thing later. But first we're going to talk about this movie. And it is a movie that I picked because it is from my childhood, and I guess it's one of the few things I could even claim to have remote nostalgia for. Though, I will not claim in any sense or regard that this movie is good. So I will start by asking Robert, who watched the whole movie, I assume.
I did, yes.
What'd you think about it?
So I'm gonna divide my feelings on this movie into 2 categories,
Okay.
which are the wrestling segments and
Yeah.
the rest of the movie.
That is exactly
Wrestling
how to look at
segments
this movie.
were super fun, and I enjoyed them, and the rest of the movie I did not like very much.
That's fair.
So, in all fairness, I'll say like this, the specific like comedy formula this movie uses for its overarching plot is one that I kind of default dislike, just because like I've seen it so many times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, I don't know. That's part of it. Also, like watching, I think even with a decent-ish comedy. Like, if you watch it with other people, it can be a lot better, but I was just watching this alone in my room.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, like, most of the jokes in it were not really doing it for me. There were a couple that I thought were pretty funny, but
That's very fair.
yeah.
To kind of give some background information, this movie, Ready to Rumble, is a very 90s movie that came out at the turn of the millennia about two guys who are super into wrestling to the point they believe that it is real, and their idol wrestler, Jimmy the King, played by Oliver Platt, who's kind of this cocky asshole, like he's the champion at the time, gets screwed over by the management, who are the true evils of America, and he gets forced into retirement. This turns the two heroes' worlds upside down, so they go on a big Hero 6 quest to get him back in the ring to win the championship, and then they all become best friends and learn life lessons along the way, and then someone gets chokeslammed through 3 stories of raw metal, and it's fucking rad.
It is pretty rad.
It is a movie that I can appreciate. For one, it is the thing that got me into wrestling. For what it was. Growing up, there was no point in my childhood I can remember ever believing wrestling was real. Like, as soon as I started taking an interest in wrestling, my dad just nipped that in the bud. He's like, wrestling is fake, this is all just whatever. But he didn't explain to me like what that meant or anything. So then watching this movie, because my aunt showed it to me because she knew I was into wrestling, I would see them in the ring, like the part at the very beginning where it's Diamond Dallas Page, who's a real wrestler, is wrestling Jimmy, and they're talking to each other like, all right, give me a hip toss. That's a thing they do in wrestling to plan for moves. And there's amazing compilations online of people who've stood close enough to the ring and they can just record the whole match of what they're saying. And of how actually really nice most of the wrestlers are to each other, even when like the one wrestler is supposed to be a clearly evil character. He's like, hey bud, did I drop you too hard? I'm sorry. And it's great.
That's really sweet.
And watching that and then seeing that made me actively go look and be like, well, how do they fake chair shots and stuff? They actually didn't, and people got horribly concussed, which is why they took chairs out of wrestling in what is now the PG era. But it also is a movie that just feels very 90s. Like it,
yeah.
Like mostly because they're just letting David Arquette be David Arquette on screen.
Yeah. So I will, like, if this movie is part of what got you into wrestling, I think that is part of its explicit purpose. Mm-hmm. Because something that I learned in researching for it is that it was a movie made, or at least produced by and for the WCW,
yep.
Which was kind of like a failing business at the time, and they were hoping to reinvigorate their audience and get new people interested.
And I would say that worked, because I remember watching wrestling when this was happening, and like to promote the movie, David Arquette won one of the titles.
Yeah.
Doesn't that impress you, William? How are you doing in the middle there?
I'm doing fine.
It
is impressive.
Yeah. What's it like being the meat in this conversation sandwich?
It's nice. I enjoy it.
How have you not figured out how to zoom your camera in?
There's not an option to just resize your camera window or zoom it in.
Well, as we talk about this thing, CJ is going to live tech support William. So CJ's going to click right here. Okay. He's going to go to voice and video.
All right.
He's going to go down here. He's going to click it. He's going to click test video. And then nothing's going to work because I'm already using this thing. So never mind. That was a bub. That was a bub kiss. No results thing. Anyway, but yes.
Bobo Osef wants us to tell him if his new music is good. But I don't think we know your new music.
I don't think I've heard any of your music, Mr. Bobo Osef. That's a cool name, though. But, yeah, so the WCW, for those who don't know, is not a business anymore. It was absorbed into the WWF to become the WWE later by Vince McMahon. And about this time this movie was coming out, the Monday Night Wars had kind of started to die, which was when WCW would play their biggest weekly show, Nitro, versus WWF Raw, which is still going today. And from what I understand, this movie did work in some extent where it did get people interested enough in the WCW that the McMahons were like, okay, maybe this is a business worth acquiring and then dismantling slowly over the next decade.
Yeah.
But as an actual piece of film, it's not very good.
Yeah.
I laughed throughout it very minimally. The one joke in it that made me laugh for purely how stupid it was is at the very beginning when Gordy butt fruits the guy behind the counter. When he just says the butt fruit must have settled at the bottom. That I've had that line just in the back of my brain for years and have wanted to say it, but I knew if I said it, one of my friends would be like, butt fruit, what are you talking about? And then I'd have to explain this movie to them. But now you guys know about the butt fruit.
Yeah, we know.
So I can just bring it.
And I also know not to smell any drinks that you hold up to my face.
Well, you'll do it anyway because you're my bud.
You're setting up to drop a butt fruit line on me.
I am. So, Will...
And you can't do that unless you get really close to me and whisper first, hey, set me up for a butt fruit line.
I will do that now that the rules have been set forth. But, William, I'm going to talk to you now because you're there in your room far away.
Yeah.
And just kind of chilling out there is, I'm going to force you into conversing with us and Bobo Osef, is... What would you say is your wrestling background? Like, growing up, did you really ever watch wrestling?
No, I never really watched wrestling at all. You were the person who really introduced it to me, or the first person that I knew that was into wrestling. So, not a lot. I kind of knew what it was, but never really paid attention to it.
So what were your thoughts of the first 43 minutes and 27 seconds of Ready to Rumble?
Just constantly being grossed out about the scene where they're eating the burgers on the back of the truck and the valve is just dripping constantly this like thick sludge and their food is like inches away from it. It's so gross.
There was a lot of gross out nutshot humor in this movie that I think, too old to appreciate anymore.
Yeah.
But at the time, I thought it was really funny. I think the biggest jokes that I enjoyed now were all of the really subtle wrestling homages that the movie does. That aren't even, like, trying for big laughs. Like, there's a moment when David Arquette is going to the character Sasha's house, and... when he walks in, he's walking in this very, like, deliberate, slow way, where he's like, I'm trying to do it in the camera.
Oh, was he doing the Vince McMahon walk?
No, he was doing the Ric Flair walk, which is do that, and then because after he does it, he turns to her and goes, "Woo," which is what Ric Flair's catchphrase is, and like, there's not like a pop for that joke at all. It just happens, and they keep going, and I was like, "Ha ha!" Oh, another joke that it was super stupid, but I did chuckle at again because of how stupidly stupid it was in the scene right after that where she's like, show me your moves, and she clearly like is talking about sex things, but then he hits her with a snapmare. That made me laugh, and then when they go to the bedroom and she's like, haha, we're gonna have sex, and she pulls off her shirt to show her boobs, and he freaks out and yells, foreign object, and then punches her in the face. Like, that was like... so dumb that I was just like, what human... Oh, got a whisper from Bobo Osef. It's probably a URL.
It seems likely.
SoundCloud.
Yo. Comme des garçons sur la vedette, je me sens comme un parapluie. Mon nom et mon mépris, comme un avion kamikaze.
I can't speak French, but the audio landscape of that little bit was very nice, Bobo Osef. Thank you for sharing it with us. We wish you much SoundCloud success.
Indeed.
So,
What kind of? Oh,
sorry, what?
nothing.
Well, you're gonna ask what kind of music it was?
Yeah.
There was like a nice ethereal chime sound, and then what sounded like French hip hop being rapped over the top of it. And I couldn't understand the words because I only know maybe altogether 2 1/4 languages. None of them being French.
2 1/4 is pretty good.
It's not good enough. So let's focus on the shitty movie parts first, and then we'll move on to the radical wrestling parts later. Because I'm so glad that's how you categorize thinking about this movie, because that's exactly how I thought. I'm like, man, all of the not wrestling, and this was probably shown off the best when William, dazed from enjoying the day's activities, kind of snapped back to reality when it went back to David Arquette and Sean, whatever that dude's name is, and we're like, oh, I forgot this movie is about them.
Yep.
Like, I loved that Randy the Macho Man Savage was at the very beginning and had that cool little stupid wrestling match in the convenience store.
Yeah, and it's like there's some fun details even where like the floor of the convenience store is set up like a wrestling mat. So like when they fall on it, the whole store kind of shakes up and down.
And even though it was like really dumb and hammy when the two of them were like, "You got a bunch of glare coming off of that chrome dome," whatever, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna take you," and whatever. That was to par what kind of stupid bullshit wrestlers would say at each other on the mic. Like,
yeah,
it was that level of bad that it was good. Like, I was like, oh man, that is how stupid people sound when they're just trying to mic at each other. But so, what were I think some of your biggest gripes with this movie?
Well, I mean, like I said, most of the comedy was not hitting for me. But also just like there are a lot of parts with the plot that just felt very, very predictable. One of the biggest ones for me was like, so the starting love interest and ending love interest characters. There's like the girl he likes at the start and then the girl he likes at the end, are like complete potted plant characters who are in literally like 3 scenes in the movie and do absolutely nothing. But are also like tied into the kind of emotional arc of it. So like he shows that like there's the first scene where they're working at the restaurant and the girl he likes doesn't like him, and the girl who likes him he doesn't like because she's too much like one of the guys, whatever that means.
I've never known what that means.
Yeah. And then they go off to wrestling adventure time, and then they come back. He hasn't talked to any of them on camera. So there's like, I don't know what changed his mind, but the one girl's like, I saw you on TV and I'm into you now. And he's like, no, I like the other girl now. And then he went up to her and they banged.
I just want to say before we move forward, if Cartoon Network is out there listening and they want to make a series called Wrestling Adventure Time, I will watch it.
I would check that series out. I will say that the scene where he reunites with the girl who he's actually supposed to love had one of the jokes that I found funny, which was when he gives her a gift and she opens it up and it's just like a Hard Rock Cafe shirt. That made me laugh. But yeah, it was just like immediately in that first scene I was like, oh, so by the end of the movie he's going to realize he actually loves the one girl, which is what happened. But there's not even like any reason given in movie for why that happens other than that's what the formula calls for. So yeah, I mean that's like the most egregious one, but I would say the subplot with Gordy and his father feels like also pretty much that, where you're like, I know that in the third act he's gonna have to leave them because it builds emotional tension, and then he'll come back to save the day at the last moment.
That makes perfect sense, and that we'll get back to a thing I want to talk about with how this movie parallels an actual wrestling match in a bit. But first, I want to ask William, what did you think about the character of Sal Mandini, Will, the best character in that whole movie?
I didn't get to him, remember?
Oh man, I forgot.
Yeah.
Just want to give you some talk time. What are you feeling, Will, over there? How you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay, that's good.
Yep.
All right, Robert, what did you think of Sal Mandini?
I mean, he was fine. Did this movie come out before or after Dodgeball? Do you know?
Oh, before. Dodgeball came out like in the 2000s. This came out like at 2000. Like the movie
Gotcha.
was made in the 90s and then just released then.
Okay, so I can't accuse them of having like stolen that coach character from there. I'm sure he's not an original archetype here either, though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like, he was a fun character.
Yeah,
He
Dodgeball
definitely
came out
was.
4 years after.
He definitely wasn't like my favorite character.
Who was your favorite character?
I
I'm
actually
curious.
did. Like, Jimmy King is kind of an asshole, but like he has some pretty funny moments. I guess I liked him more than any of the other characters.
Oliver Platt, early 2000s heartthrob of the screen.
That was like the other scene that really made me laugh, was the one where they like finally get to his trailer. And I can't even remember what line he said, but he had some like line where he was just being like such an asshole, and it made me laugh. But
I think this will be a fair question. Will, what did you enjoy more, the 46 minutes of this movie that you watched or the 43 minutes of Little Panda Fighter?
This movie, Little Panda Fighter, is such garbage.
Little
Alright.
Panda Fighter is an artistic masterpiece, and you just
Alright,
don't
well, you're
understand.
wrong.
Well, we can't agree with you, Robert, until we get to hear your full review.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you using your new mic?
No, not right now. I still need to get like a better handle on how to make it actually do what I want it to do.
Gotcha.
And I didn't want to give you a thing to have to live troubleshoot for me.
Well, the first time that turned out so well, so you probably made the right
Yeah.
choice. I think Will's falling asleep.
What? No, I'm not falling asleep.
Okay. What are you doing?
Just playing with this eraser.
Okay. Thanks for being a part of this podcast, William.
You're welcome. You asked
I'm
me to
glad
be
you're
here.
here.
All right. Well, I guess to keep going forward. Yeah. There's really not. I don't think there's really a lot to pull apart as far as the narrative goes.
Yeah.
I liked the push that it gave Butterfinger.
The push that it gave Butterfinger?
Oh,
You have to
like-
remind me.
They just use the word, like they bring up and mention the bar delivery by name like 4 or 5 times through the course of the movie. Where he's like, I'm gonna get him a Butterfinger. Can I get him a Butterfinger?
Yeah.
Butterfinger, my favorite. It's like, hey man, you crushed my Butterfinger. So it's normally like movies don't say a specific product unless they're getting product placement. They said that once so much that I'm like, I bet Butterfinger paid to be in this.
Yeah.
And to me, Butterfingers is like a late 90s, early 2000s candy bar.
That
Not
makes
a very
sense.
good one, though.
What?
Screw you. I like Butterfinger.
When we live together, Robert, we'll eat Butterfinger together.
Yes.
We'll have
That's what I
pizza,
want.
Butterfinger, and all the cream soda we can drink.
Yes.
Uh,
And then I'll die from a heart attack, and it'll be worth it.
It will be worth it. We're all going down. I do think it's funny. I do not think this was done at all on purpose, but it sort of fits, I think, thematically the idea of the movie being very predictable because it is about wrestling. And wrestling like, and this will play back to what like was happening at the very beginning of the movie is when they're watching Jimmy King lose his title. I can't tell if what was happening was actually like a broadcasted performance or if that was what would be called a house show for wrestling, where that's not shown to the public. So while anything that happens at a house show is basically non-canon for the wrestling, titles will never exchange hands. No major rivalries will ever be like resolved. It's just you go for the sake of wrestling.
Yeah.
But because that was kind of the joke at the start of the movie when they were going to destroy Jimmy and he was going to lose the title, is they yell, "This isn't even a pay-per-view," which means like he's not supposed to lose the title because this isn't a place where he can lose the title. Is that when you're watching like Monday Night Raw and it is like they almost always have it happen is after like a pay-per-view happens and a person loses their title, almost always the following day that is like a normal scheduled programming for that wrestling thing, the person who lost will demand a rematch. And I have never seen them win it and then get to keep it. Because it's like, why would they undo all the work of the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
And that is just a thing that happens is predictability is such a huge thing in normal wrestling, is that you're always like, oh, if the bad guy's been winning all the time, he's going to keep winning until the pay-per-view. And then the pay-per-view events are when anything can happen, which is why like that is kind of the formula for writing that a lot of writers for the WWE have brought up, is that's what keeps pay-per-views making money, is because they don't follow the normal story arc of like that is one where you'll like a TV house show, you'll see what's called like the jobbers. They're like the no-name people who show up to get beat up by up-and-comers to show how strong the up-and-comers are showing up.
Yeah.
Is a pay-per-view is when a jobber can beat one of those people. So I do think it's funny that the movie is completely predictable, but it's exactly like how watching a wrestling match where it's the defeated champion going after the evil title holder almost always plays out until sort of the mid-2000s when we got really like dark and meta about like, nope, maybe the hero doesn't always, postmodern, that's what I mean, where it's the hero doesn't always win. We're going to have an era of darkness for 5 years.
Yeah. Where the heel wins.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bad guy, right? It's
Yep.
the heel.
Awesome. What's the good guy called for bonus points?
The face?
Good. For an extra bonus points, what's the full name of it?
Oh no.
I know.
The handsome face.
William?
Babyface.
There it is.
The what?
Babyface.
Baby face.
That's the thing that happens though, is they try to do, haha, the evil guy takes over, but then eventually that evil guy just turns into a face because they're like, we can't keep them evil forever or people will stop caring even though we want this guy to get pushed. So then they just put that evil dude against another evil dude until one evil dude has to be the heelest of the heels. Like that happens with Diamond Dallas Page in wrestling. Is he, at the time, I can't think of who would have been a better villain for the WCW movie than Diamond Dallas Page. He is, I'd say like he's the equivalent of Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WCW, I mean.
Yeah.
Where he's just kind of like this loud, brash, kick you in the face, and kick you in the teeth sort of person. But even he, like eventually, like when he was champion for so long, they're like, we need to put another evil person.
Yeah.
And then he became a good guy for like basically the rest of his career.
But I mean, arguably the real villain of the movie, though, is the guy whose name I can't remember.
Sinclair.
But yeah.
Which also fits into wrestling because the biggest villains of wrestling have right now now it's really just Vince.
Yeah.
Is that the McMahon family was sort of this evil force for a really long time. Is that they just did whatever it took to stay on top. And then at the time, I think Eric Bischoff would have been the GM of WCW. And he is also a notorious villain for like screwing people over and stuff like that. So that is Sinclair was, aside from the fact he like openly threatens to murder Sting, which I was like, man, that seems like a dumb thing to do to Sting. That is how those characters are normally played up in the WWE now.
Gotcha.
Is the person?
Yeah, one thing. Oh,
sorry, that's it.
One thing that I read. So Sinclair wasn't the actual that guy for the WCW, and the movie was originally going to have whatever that character was, but then he got fired like a couple months before they made the movie. So yeah, they had to make up a new character who was the Sinclair.
That makes sense, because I was surprised, because I would be surprised they let him like take credit for the WCW effectively within the world of that movie. Because like WWE wouldn't let that happen. If they're going to talk about someone owning the WWE, Vince McMahon is going to be a character in that movie going, "I made it," or they would just make up a fake wrestling league or something. But
yeah,
the fact that it was the WCW and that guy going, "I made this league," I was like, oh. That's something that wouldn't happen today because of branding and whatnot. But also, all those people in the audience are going to jail at the end of that movie.
Wait. Oh, because they beat him up?
Yeah, they like pull him out into the crowd and just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I guess they're all on camera, so you do have the evidence.
Like, that was purely crime beating.
Yeah.
Like, that... Also, I believe all of the main heroes would go to jail.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's not uncommon in this like genre of comedy movie where like realistically all of the people who are in it would go to jail.
That is true.
I'm willing to suspension of disbelief that one.
I mean, there have been weirder gimmicks in wrestling, like the dude. There's a clip of a Japanese wrestler who, while he's fighting, he just pulls out a 9mm handgun in the ring and just shoots at the dude he's fighting.
That's pretty fun.
Another one where to bring to I guess keep dunking on Asian people is it was in the WWF, this like troupe of Japanese wrestlers kidnap Sid Vicious, the guy you saw in the movie with the curly hair who was a villain, and they attempt to cut his penis off with a Japanese sword, where the term "chapa chapa yo pee-pee" comes from.
That seems slightly racist.
Then there was another one where a guy broke into another dude's house and held their mom hostage at gunpoint, and then didn't go to jail.
Yeah.
And then probably the biggest ever story push that we never got a resolution to because Chris Benoit had to go and kill his family and then himself was who murdered Vince McMahon by blowing up his stretch limo in the parking lot. But then the Chris Benoit stuff happened, and then he just had to come back the next day and be like, yo. And that bit
I don't know what the Chris Benoit stuff is.
Chris Benoit was this really big wrestler who was like a face wrestler for as long as I had seen him. And he was actually like a fan favorite at my house. He was awesome. He always helped underdogs. Like, my favorite wrestler was Rey Mysterio. It was Rey Mysterio. And he was friends with him. And all this stuff it's very famous thing that happened where he didn't show up for a match one day, and then they investigated and they found that he had murdered his son and his wife and then had killed himself.
That's a dark ending.
Yeah, and then they looked at his brain and they're like, from damage and using performance enhancers, his brain was like that of an 85-year-old man.
Oh, was it kind of like... I guess it makes sense that you'd have CTE-type brain injuries in wrestling also.
Yeah, because he wrestled in Japan, which... in the 80s, which was even more nuts than over here. Like, they did crazy shit. And then he wrestled through the PG-13 area where they were hitting each other with real chairs and stuff. And it was just a really sad thing that happened. But on an upper note, the best ever gimmick to ever happen come out of wrestling. Will, you know what it is?
Is it Shane McMahon jumping off the Megatron?
No, that's not a gimmick. That's just a thing that happened. I mean,
Oh.
the best setup for a match, William. You mentioned it today, even. Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, where he held his son hostage and said, "If you don't beat me in wrestling, your son becomes my son."
Sort of. It was a ladder match for the possession of someone's child. As they suspended the adoption papers above the ladder, and Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero had a ladder match to see who got to keep their son.
That's really, really beautiful.
It's an amazing like weeks of setup, because Eddie Guerrero just like keeps showing him being like, "I'm your real dad" to this kid, and then he starts this whole like new catchphrase called "I'm your poppy," and he just does all these weird promo shots that would get shown to Rey Mysterio after Rey Mysterio would win about how Eddie Guerrero's coming to steal his kid. And then they're both just really good high flyer characters, so it was a really good ladder match to watch because they're just like backflipping off of ladders for their children. And it's the best thing. It's the best thing I've ever seen ever. But on that note, I would like to open up the second level of this quiz.
The second cage on top of the cage that we're doing our cage match on.
Yes, so I want to talk about that cage next. But here are 5 wrestling match types. The first one being the Hell on Earth Ring of Fire match, where the entire match takes place with all of the ropes of the ring on fire the entire time. The Punjabi prison match, where it's a steel cage match, but the steel is replaced with wood, and all of the walls are designed in a way you cannot escape, and they are laced with weapons that you can pull down and beat your opponent into submission with.
What kind of weapons?
There are barbed wire bats, canes, nooses. There is the Total Flesh Evisceration Piranha match, where you win when you have dunked your opponent's face into a vat of piranhas and they have had parts of their face chewed off.
Damn.
There is the Electric Chair Death Cage match, where you win when your opponent has been placed in the electric chair and shocked to death. And then lastly, the Landmine Death match, where the outside and the 4 corners of the ring are lined with packed C4 explosives, and you win by slamming your opponent onto one of the charges, causing it to blow up.
And we're
All right,
picking one that's fake.
Which of these, which one is not real?
I'm going C4.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go with the second one.
The what one? The prison
the
one?
Punjabi one.
Uh,
That one sounded like too racist to me to be.
no, not the
fake.
Punjabi. The one before that one.
The electric chair death match?
No, that was the one after it.
The piranha
The
one.
piranha one?
No.
Okay, the first one, the first one was the fire ropes. Then it was Punjabi, and then it was piranha, and then it was electric chair, and then it was landmine.
Oh, okay, yeah, Punjabi then.
Punjabi then? All right.
Yeah.
We'll do it the same way again. So Punjabi and then C4. Wait, I already did this bit. I already told you. Okay, the correct answer is all of these are real matches.
Oh, that's cheating. I never.
Heel
did that.
turn!
Boo.
Boo indeed, but think about what that means.
I'm really curious. So like with the piranha one, obviously you're not actually getting your face bitten off by piranhas, but do they do like some sort of live special effects for it?
No.
No.
They dunked
No,
the
they actually
opponent's
had-
face into a tub of piranhas.
Yeah,
And then
I
while
remember
their
them
face-
advertising that match.
When did they advertise it? It was a match done in Japan in the early 90s.
Really, I thought they did one in America.
No.
I kind of remember seeing it on.
I remember
TV when
showing
it
you a
was-
clip on YouTube.
Maybe that was it.
But no, they would blade themselves into the pool. But that's not how piranhas work. So when you watch the match, it's just these people cutting their faces underwater, and then all of the piranhas are just pressing themselves against the bottom of the tank. Because they're like, please get out of our tank, splashing everywhere. But yeah.
Okay. And so wait, the C4 one can't really be C4 either,
No,
right?
it was
Like,
just these
yeah.
weird... They were charged explosions that ended up hurting the people who were doing it. Because they
But
do...
they're like,
Sorry, what?
they're like special effects explosions of some sort.
Some sort of, yeah. Because they didn't even get... Because the outside of the ring was like a whole bunch of charges on top of like plywood covered with barbed wire. And they get out there, but they don't manage to set off any of those. The one that blows up the ring is a dude gets like suplexed through a table that's in the corner, and then the goes off and pushes the dude into the ring. But no, of all of those, the Punjabi prison one is actually the newest one.
Huh.
That came out in like the 2010s. And it just was named after the guy who like invented the match. The wrestler who was in it, the great Khali, was from Punjab, India.
Ah.
And it was racist because his handler was like, "This is what the prisons in Punjabi are really like.
Yeah.
There are just weapons in the walls," and it was like, okay. And then they've done the Rings on Fire match a number of times. And then they killed Big Boss Man in the electric chair.
That one was real. It was a real electric chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And first they actually lynched him, and then they put him in the electric chair while he was unconscious, and they shocked him to death.
Really gotta make sure he's dead.
Yeah. He got murdered.
Was that his last match of his career? Was
No,
dying in the...
he came back to life. It turns out he came back to life before they could bury him at his funeral. He had slipped into
They
a
didn't
near-death
kill him
state.
hard enough. Really, they should have executed him at least 3 or 4 more times.
Well, his last match was going to be the firing squad match, but then he retired beforehand. But no, speaking of gimmick matches, I do think Ready to Rumble has by far the coolest gimmick match I've seen in fake wrestling forever. I love the idea of the triple cage.
Well, I read that they actually did that twice. The triple cage match.
What?
That's something that I read in the trivia section on IMDb. So, I mean, maybe that's not real, but
Hold on.
But yeah, they said that the triple cage match from the movie was like a thing that they had actually done before.
Oh man, is CJ gonna learn something about wrestling?
From me. Haha.
Yeah. Hold on. Huh. The triple cage match. Because that was the one thing I'm curious about is what the top cage is supposed to be used for then. Huh. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's still the same thing. You just have to cut your way out. That is cool. I didn't know that was really ever used. Because one of the times it says it was used was in a promotional stunt with David Arquette. And then it looks like the other time they did it at the War Games pay-per-view. And it had like 6 people doing it at once. Okay, well, I will now change what I was going to say then is I want that format of match to be in a wrestling video game.
Yeah, I can see that being pretty fun.
As I like the idea of the first it feels like an anime level of like amping up the goofiness of where like the first level is just a normal ring, but you have to ascend into the effectively the second tier of the cage is the Punjabi prison match, where it's just you're in a tiny cage and there's just weapons everywhere. But they didn't show what the top cage is used for. Like, it just looks like a tinier cage.
Yeah.
But yeah, ever since I had seen that movie, that is what I'd wanted to see that sort of match, because I never heard about it. I'm really surprised I've never seen that brought up in like greatest matches of all time sort of stuff. Sorry. But I do really like and I may be reading into it too hard, but for as many homages as there are throughout the whole movie, is I feel like the solution to the resolution to that match is actually a combination of two really big wrestling moments in wrestling history. I don't know why I'd say wrestling so many times. Of him doing the scoop power slam to Diamond Dallas Page through all of the cage walls.
Yeah.
Which is radical, just on its own. I wish they didn't have to cut it so hard and they could have just shown him fall the 40 feet onto the ring and then die. Because that would have killed him, I think.
Yeah.
That's
probably a pretty difficult effect to get, though.
I really want it, like, the other reason I wanted it to be real is the one thing that pissed me off about learning this movie is that Diamond Dallas Page uses a stunt double in this movie. And that bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I want to see in real life someone get knocked from the top cage all the way down to the first cage. Like that, if that, like what happens to both of them in the middle of the fight that would be like a highlight moment for almost ever, is seeing someone drop that far. And that brings me to the first part of the homage that I think it's a reference to, is a very famous cage match between Undertaker and Mankind. And it was a pretty early in the lifespan of the Hell in the Cell cage match, which would be just the cage match that uses what would be the first level of that triple cage. And it's very famous because Mankind gets thrown first off the top of the cage, from the top into the announce table, and shatters it. They're like, oh, he's dead. And then to up the ante again, eventually they both make their way up to the top. And it's the only time I've ever seen it, and it may have happened some other time in wrestling history, maybe modernly, I haven't seen it, is Undertaker just choke slams him through the top of the cage and pins him. And that had happened about 3 years prior to this movie coming out, so it would probably be about when the movie was being made that happened.
I feel like I actually remember kids talking about that at school.
I mean, it was a huge deal, and it was an extremely dangerous stunt. It's like a 25-foot drop. And that, the wrestler Mick Foley, who's very known for like annihilating his body during his profession, he says that was one of his worst injuries, is that he bit down so hard when he went through the roof of the cage. His bottom front tooth went up through his upper lip and up into his nose, and then got embedded up in his nasal cavity, and they had to remove it surgically.
Don't like that.
All right.
That sounds really painful.
Yep. I would love to do a podcast just about Mick Foley. But another thing, which I would say is probably arguably like the biggest moment in wrestling history, is what the camera's kind of shot when he is starting the scoop power slam on Diamond Dallas Page before slamming him through all the things, is the way he picks him up and turns him and kind of pauses is very reminiscent to the match between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. And this was back at the pinnacle of when wrestling was, I would say, probably at its biggest. It was back before people knew wrestling wasn't real, and Andre the Giant was this huge 7-foot tall man, and Hulk Hogan was the Hulkster. And by this point, from what I remember, Andre the Giant had never been picked up. And just in this match, Hulk Hogan picks up Andre the Giant and scoop power slams him, and just annihilates all of the muscles in his low back and upper legs doing it. And then he drops a leg on him to win the match. But it's like one of the hypest moments in WrestleMania history is just this very simple move of the scoop slam. Everyone does it. That's like the default over A move on every wrestler that you've ever played in any wrestling game. But it's such a simple move, and the fact that it was used for the finale made me really think of that match. Since that match happened in like the late 70s, early 80s, they clearly knew about it.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if... I think Hulk Hogan would have probably... He left WCW during the production of this movie. Because, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because he like appears at the start, right? And then never again.
When does Hulk
Wasn't he in the
Hogan
gas-
show up? That was Randy.
Wasn't he in the gas station scene?
No, it was
okay.
Randy Savage. Who Will didn't know that was Bonesaw from from Spider-Man.
I did not know that either.
Ah!
Thank you, Robert.
Remember who Bonesaw is?
Bonesaw is ready! He's the wrestler that Peter Parker fights in the cage.
Oh.
That was Randy the
That's
Macho
fun.
Man Savage. Pre-car accident.
Oh,
Yep. But yeah. I think the movie... I will never say that this movie is a great piece of art, but I will defend it against anyone who says that it's a giant piece of garbage with no merit. There were a lot of little things throughout the whole movie that if you were a wrestling fan already, you'd be like, oh man, that was a cool little thing.
Yeah.
Also, the soundtrack to that movie was awesome, wasn't it? Kid Rock, lit. Someone doing a rap rock cover of We Are the Champions at the very end.
It's not my jams, but
I just realized I've been just not dominating the shit out of this conversation. What else would you
I mean,
like to
that's
talk?
all right. You know more about wrestling than either of us do. So
I
you-
just wanted to
that's
talk
true.
about wrestling so bad. It's a thing I love the idea of, but every time I try to watch it now, like, it's 50-50, like, oh, that was pretty neat, and 50-50, oh, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
The coolest match in modern time now for me, and I want to show it to you when we all move in together into the big house that all 15 of us are going to live in, is called Total Deletion, I believe. And it is a wrestling match between the Hardy brothers in their backyard that they made to television level quality.
it's pretty goofy.
It is awesome. It is the most wrestling thing. Oh, sorry. So the video starts off with one of the characters sending the other one a battle invitation with hover droids that project holograms. Final Deletion, that's what it's called. Anyway, sorry, what were you going to say?
It's just like, this definitely was not a good movie, but it did. I would be more interested now to watch big muscle dudes wrestle slam each other into things. Like, I think the one thing that this movie did right is that it is genuinely a good advertisement for like what is fun about wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Also, even though I knew it was coming, the very final-ish, well, like, I guess it was the finals, like, the middle of the ending of when, like, all the bad guys come out and they're beating up King and they lock him in, and then the good guys show up, I did start getting, like, hyped again, because I was like, this feels like wrestling! This is what always happens is, it's normally, like, the baby face versus the villain, and then the villain has, like, their manager, who's normally another wrestler, stand outside the ring. And then something happens, and then they both get in the ring and just start waylaying the shit out of the hero, and then everyone's like, no! And then just... And John Cena just comes sliding in to help them, and it's just the fucking coolest. Yeah, when they show up, and then Gordy ramps the motorcycle and breaks through the wall, to Ba with the Ba by Kid Rock, I still was like, yeah! Followed by just money shot finisher after money shot finisher of everyone hitting their signature moves in the ring. Like, that move where you saw Goldberg, like, bring that guy up into a vertical suplex and then kind of turn and power slam him into the, like, that's called the jackhammer. and that's his finisher. And then people are like spearing each other. It was all just good. Yeah, are you okay there?
Yeah, my ear was just a little itchy. Getting a little ear scratch.
That's fine. Will, what's your favorite finisher in wrestling?
What was Rey Mysterio's finisher?
I'm so happy you brought that up because I was like, man, I want to do a day where I just bring up wrestling moves and we talk about them. It's called the 619. And
That one of the ones that I know.
Even more than the Canadian Destroyer.
Wait, that was actually someone's finisher? I thought that was just a thing people did until it got banned.
No, it was someone's finisher until it got banned.
Oh, then that one, yeah.
But, all right. So sorry, you were saying it made you more interested in seeing big slammy dudes slam each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say there's like only one other thing before that's made me kind of want to watch wrestling.
What was that? Oh wait, is it an anime?
It'll make you. It's not an anime. I feel like it'll make you sad when I tell you what it is. But,
oh boy.
Jim Sterling is actually a heel in a kind of like indie wrestling league, and I have kind of wanted to watch some of that before, but
I am half
I knew
sad.
it would make you sad. Yeah.
I really can't see him being good in the ring, but
yeah, I mean, I feel like he's probably more there just to. I don't know. I mean, I've never actually. He shows little clips from his matches sometimes.
Like, is he actually wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was like, he seems to be more of like a Mr. Fuji character.
Oh, I mean that might. Yeah, I don't know. I know he's like pretty actively involved in it, or at least was for a while.
Now that Will doesn't have to get up in the morning, we can stay up late watching wrestling on Mondays. Yes. Get in that raw hole, William. Yes, I know what I said. Oh, that's right. What day of the week is SmackDown going to be on when it goes to Fox? I hope it's Friday again.
I don't
know. Wrestling is dumb, but I like it. Which I guess we're not really switching gears, but well, actually, before we move anywhere, Robert, did you have any cool trivia you wanted to share about the movie or anything?
Man, there was not a lot of trivia. We already dropped a lot of it. I think I only had like one other. You stole one of mine, which was the one about David Arquette winning. The only other one that I have, I feel like, is another real bummer. But
okay.
It was Rose McGowan, who played Sasha, admitted that she really hated being in this movie.
Yep.
And I guess she had thrown the script out 3 times before she accepted the role. It didn't say why she accepted it. Maybe she just needed the money. I don't know, but
I'd heard a lot of people didn't like being in that movie.
Yeah.
I will say I was surprised at the amount of push Perry Saturn got in that movie. I guess I didn't watch enough WCW, but I thought he was pretty minor league. But he was in that movie a bunch. He was the, like, tanned guy with the mustache who goes and beats up Sal with Sid Vicious. He was just on screen a lot. And I was just like, huh. Because I'd seen Perry Saturn in the WWE, and he was, like, a bottom shelf, sort of. Like, he would show up periodically to be, like, someone's tag team partner or something. But he was never, like, a big boy player.
Yeah.
But moving into kind of a related note about video games is, have you guys, aside from the ones we've played together, like really ever played any wrestling video games?
No, not really.
No.
Okay, cool. Is that during the 90s, early 2000s, there were really 2 big styles of wrestling games. Is that I don't remember what the other one is, and I can't find it in my notes, and I feel dumb because it's the dumber one that no one really plays or fondly remembers. But there's this other style of wrestling game which have now fondly been referred to now as Aki Engine games, which are just this sort of like wrestling style game where you could like all of the moves like modulated into each other, and that was like the game style that went from like old NES games where wrestling was the animations where you grabbed a dude, you mashed a button, and if you mashed more, your character would just kind of like lift them up and slam them. Aki Engine games would have stuff like tie-ups. You could kick someone in the stomach to force them to bend over, and then once they were bending over, your character would then have access to a whole nother suite of moves. And those were like the gold standard of wrestling games up through like the N64, PS1, up until the start of the PS2 era, when Ukes took over the licensing for those games, and they made the one we played together, The Day of Reckoning 2, which still has one of my two most hype video game moments of all time, when all of us were playing in the cage match, and I just was getting really lucky at dodging, and one of our friends, Jared, just yelled at the top of his lungs while shaking his fist, "How is he doing this?" It felt like the only time in my whole life where I was an anime character. Where I was just causing my opponent to become so frustrated they had to scream at the camera. But yeah, now wrestling video games really, in my opinion, have kind of taken a big like downturn, because they've gone from being like a sort of variation on a fighting game to being a sports game made by the people who make sports games every year. But like before, I can't remember what it was. It was a game made by Midway, and it's a wrestling game, but it's like a fighting game where you could play as characters like The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, all these real wrestlers. But while you're wrestling, like Undertaker can throw ghosts at people, and Shawn Michaels like he shoots musical notes out of his feet when he kicks.
That feels like it's a game that's maybe more in line with like the heart of what's fun about wrestling, where it's like we're gonna take these characters and like really, like, it's not a real sport anyways. Like, it's fake, so why not have as much fun with that as possible?
Exactly. Like I thought you guys. Well, Will, I thought you loved the Def Jam games.
I've only played one.
Oh, you made it sound like it was one, like you loved the shit out of it.
I mean, it was a fun game when I played it.
You're just bringing all the energy here tonight, Will.
Thanks.
But yeah, the Def Jam games up until the terrible shitty ones were a great alternative for wrestling at the time, I think. Where it was just about dudes beating the shit out of each other rather than like, and in real life, this would be the point where you'd have to move the stick upwards to apply pressure to the wrists. And you're just like, because I really think they shouldn't call the WWE superstars athletes. Even though they completely are. Like, you have to be in amazing shape and be very controlled for what you're doing. Otherwise, everyone would have all of their hands broken.
Yeah.
And if everyone was like Sin Cara, a match would never get finished. That's a shout out to all of my Sin Cara haters out there who will get that joke. Sin Cara is really
It's like a hybrid of athleticism and showmanship.
Like, to me, they're closer to actors.
Yeah.
And I feel like if that's the mindset we could put on them moving forward, is maybe video games would stop trying to make it like a sport and more like a show. But that will never happen because everything that is good in this world is dead.
And if you're going to play a sports game, obviously you're going to play the best sports game,
Roller Derby
8
Disco
Seconds
Dodgeball.
to Glory, which is the official sports game of pro bull riding.
Yep, I believe it. What about Ash's Cricket?
I mean, can that really beat pro bull riding?
Can you pro bull ride for 76 hours?
No.
Then yes.
You can pro bull ride for 8 seconds.
Sounds like they don't have the stamina of a cricket player.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough.
Take that, bull riders. But, anything you want to throw out here, Will? No. Okay.
Nope.
You're at like 27 words, so I just wanted to see if you wanted to hit like the 50 word minimum before we stop. Like you can ask questions, you can say whatever you want about really anything, and I'll try to bring it back to wrestling. Let's do what you want, because remember, you've been on camera this whole time, just staring wordlessly.
I want to see you give him a real challenge that he'll have to bring back to wrestling.
Uh,
A for effort.
Yep. Okay. I'm sorry.
We have fun here.
For everyone wondering, this is what it's like to live with William. This,
yeah. It pretty much is.
I guess, Robert, did you have any other talking points? Do you have any questions that I could try answering? Anything? Really, just whatever. This is probably the only time in this podcast we get to talk about wrestling, and I'm just like...
I mean, you can always just drop some mad wrestling references on us. I do that with Star Trek all the time, so I feel like it's fair play.
I guess that's true. Will, if you had to be in a wrestling match, who would you choose as your what anime character would you choose as your tag team partner?
Anime character?
Yes.
Guts.
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 What about you, Robert?
Man, that's a good question. I'm gonna say Space Dandy.
Man, you
I'm
guys.
probably not winning, but I'm gonna have fun.
Okay, I was like, as far as goal orientation, both of you picked terrible choices. But as far as
Yeah.
entertainment value, those would probably be good. Will definitely be dead by the end of that match. But Space, yeah, you guys are gonna lose because Space Dandy is all about self-deprecation of whatever.
But
But
probably with Space Dandy, we get into an argument about like what our wrestling team is gonna be called, and then
but how does it play out in the ring?
Yeah, I don't
want
know.
you guys to. I
mean,
want
it
you guys
has
to
to
tell
be
me
some
your
like
matches.
crazy hijinks. So like, I guess we got. Who are we fighting? It's got to be the Gogol Empire, and who's the monkey guy?
Yeah, you're wrestling the monkey guy and the baseball that warped through time and killed that guy.
The baseball, not the wrestler that the baseball killed. It's the baseball itself.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
So the baseball is just always sitting menacingly in the corner, waiting to be tagged in.
Yeah. And then, like, whenever it gets hit. Okay. All right. So how does the match play out? I'm trying to think it through in my head. So
We'll be
getting
ready to
in
answer
there.
the same question with your
We're getting
selection.
hyped up. Monkey Guy tells us that he's here to capture Space Dandy.
Mm-hmm.
Space Dandy wants to go to Boobies. And I'm like, Space Dandy, what are you talking about? We gotta save you from Monkey Guy. And then me and Space Dandy start fighting about that, and Monkey Guy's just like, fucking seriously, guys? Okay, Gogol Empire, get in there and get him. And that's when all of his dudes come out, all of his little henchmen dudes.
Mm-hmm. What type of match is this, by the way? Like, is this like a ladder match for Dandy's freedom, or is it a standard tag team?
Can it? Well, so like in a cage match, is the goal to escape? How do you?
Well,
I feel like our goal has to be to escape, right?
If it is a standard topless cell, then yes, it is to get out. If it's the one that has a lid on top of it, it's just fight everywhere. But if it's
okay, so actually that's like a really great way for this match to get set up. Is me and Space Dandy are walking through the middle of the ring, and the cage drops down out of nowhere.
Boom, there you go.
And then Monkey Guy comes in and is like, "Aha! I've caught you, Dandy." And then we do our argument, and then all the henchmen come in, and they're beating us up. But then something. Okay, the baseball is our enemy, and one of us trips on the baseball, and it goes flying off and starts ricocheting around the cell all crazy like.
Okay.
And it knocks out every single one of the henchmen.
Oh man.
Um,
What a heel
and-
turn for the baseball.
Yeah. And so then Dandy still wants to go to boobies. That's his whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, fine, we can do that. We just got to get you out of here. And we start going up, but then as we're going up, the baseball comes and like knocks both of us off, and we fall off of the cage and back onto the mat.
Okay.
And then a monkey guy comes up, and he traps us.
You're trapped.
And it's like, oh no. Well, he pins us.
He's pinning you.
do
Oh, is
it-
this also a falls counts cage match?
Yeah.
Oh dang.
We'll say yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. He's got us. We're at 1, and then 2, and it's almost 3, and then the baseball comes around again, and it hits Monkey Guy and knocks him out.
Well, is he still on top of you then?
Well, no, it like knocks him off of us.
Gotcha, okay.
And he's passed out. And so then me and Dandy start crawling up again, and we're almost at the top. And then Dandy gets distracted by the smell of some space ramen.
Okay.
And actually it's not space ramen. He sees some boobs.
Okay,
That
that's
feels
always-
more in character.
What if there was space ramen got spilled on someone's boobs?
There you go. That's what it is. That's got to be what it is. And he gets distracted and accidentally falls off the cage and knocks me with him.
Man, you guys.
And
this
so
is a
like
time
we're on
of
the
it.
mat, and when he falls on top of me and pins me, and I get taken out.
So wait, so you weren't a team?
We're on a team, but he accidentally pinned me when we fell.
Oh, because if you actually are an
And he-
official team, that you can't actually ever pin.
Oh,
your-
okay.
I was curious.
All right,
What's
okay.
happened to this baseball the whole time? Because it not
I was-
flown out of the cage yet?
No, it's still bouncing around because I was about to get back to that.
Okay.
So, okay, so he can't pin me, but we both fall. He falls on top of me, and then the baseball gently comes down and falls on top of him, pinning both of us at the same time, and we get 3 counted out and lose.
Dang. I could see the end of that episode being where both of you are kind of like beat up with black eyes, but then you're both at boobies, and just girls from boobies are just hanging off you, being like, "You were such big, handsome, strong men doing that big show," and then like, "Yeah, we're pretty good, but we're nothing next to that guy." And then they point over, and it's just the baseball sitting at its own table, and there's like 18 girls just piled on top of it.
Yeah,
That's a good match.
Yeah.
I'd watch it. That's definitely at least a 3 to 3.5 star match.
Out of
5.
5.
That's an actual ranking system. There's only been like there's been less than 20 5-star matches ever. Because it's like a weird poll of the excitement in the ring and how many people are watching it, like live. And then
Gotcha.
some people vote like on a metric to give it that score. So getting above a 3 is really good.
All right, I'll take it.
All right, Will, for your match, you and Guts are tag teaming against Griffith and one of the wheel skeletons.
Okay.
What match type is it? Is this
Ladder match.
A ladder match? What is suspended above the ring? Is it Casca?
It's Casca.
Oh man, is this pre or post mind-addling fuck session?
Post.
Oh no, that's horrible because she hates heights, so she's just screaming and peeing up there. I mean, she does that.
Okay.
Okay, so it's whoever can get Casca down first.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell what happens. What's going on? Because it's clearly a tornado-style match because it's a ladder. So all 4 of you are in the ring.
Style match.
Tornado means everyone's allowed in the ring at the same time.
Oh, okay.
If it's a traditional, that means one person has to be in, the other people have to be out. But in a tornado match, everyone can be anywhere all the time. Like a tornado.
Okay.
So, what's going on? Walk me through this. Who are you squaring up against? Are you going after Griffith? The wheel skeleton? Oh, man. How's that going? Use your words.
Um,
How about we put it this way? What's your strategy against Wheel Skeleton?
Yeah.
to knock him over because he's rolling around.
So are you going to go
How are you
for
gonna do
more
it?
technical? Are you going to go for a school? Because you can't even schoolboy roll up a wheel. He's a wheel. He'll just keep rolling.
Yeah. So you gotta get him from the side.
What's your opening move? Oh man, Will has to use an actual wrestling
What's
move.
the rushing punch where you like sling yourself up?
You broke up kind of hard right there. Where you sling yourself
Oh,
up.
like just a haymaker after bouncing off the ropes.
Are you trying to clothesline him?
No, punch him.
That's not. I mean, that's just a punch.
Oh, okay, then just a punch.
You're not gonna grapple the wheel skeleton. He's made out of woods and bone. I bet you could lift him.
I mean, maybe if you get him like by the spoke.
But you're gonna punch him. You're gonna punch the wooden wheel.
Yes.
I feel like that would hurt. But all right, so you've punched it. It's going on. What's going on? What's going on with your other party boys? How are Griffin and Guts holding on about this?
Griffith is doing a bunch of high flying acrobatic shit to Gut, and Gus is just getting angry at him.
Good. How's Casca doing? How much pee is she made?
Still screaming a lot.
Good. Just tying a mentally subnormal person 30 feet above the ring just seems like a cruel... That feels very berserkish.
Yeah.
All right. So the wheel skeleton's down. What's going on next? Are you helping your partner? You going for the ladder? You playing the ladder game early? You gonna do some groundwork on the skeleton wheel?
Just gonna go for the ladder.
All right. If you pick up the ladder, turn to page 6 in this choose your own adventure, I guess, that we're doing. All right. That was a good match, Will.
Yes.
From start to finish, excellent. Because my next question was going to be, what would be your? Because we did already. What would our stands be? What would be your guys' finishing moves in wrestling? And they can be a little goofy because there are definitely goofy finishing moves. My top, oh man, what are the best ones? Santino Marella's Snake Fist, which is probably the newest stupid one, is pretty great. Where he puts on a snake sock puppet and then hypnotizes his opponent and then just pecks them in the chest really hard and knocks them out. There's this new dude who's like wrestling in the amateur circuit where it's called the Sleepy Boy Hold, where he literally, like, he'll whip them off the rope, and when he bounces back, he just scoops them up in his arm like a mother holding a child and just rocks them back and forth until they fall asleep.
Eh.
Okay. I think my move. I've got him. I'm getting ready to finish him. I go
Okay.
over to the side of the stage and I reach like below the stage where you hide all your props at,
Okay.
and I pull out one of those like desks that they had in school where that's like the shitty. It's like a chair and it's built into a desk,
Oh
right?
man, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, but I'm whipping it out. I'm throwing it up on the stage, and I'm like whipping it over at the dude, like on the stage, so it flips around, and he gets like caught and lands, and he's stuck in the desk now.
Oh man, like he's sitting in the desk, like he's just, like
He's sitting in the desk, and
Oh,
he can't
no.
go anywhere. And then I reach under and pull out a chalkboard,
Uh-oh, this is getting
And I
very
put-
elaborate.
and I put that up somewhere, and then I start explaining Star Trek to him,
Oh,
and then he just slowly passes out while I explain Star Trek.
okay. I thought we were gonna keep on the anime references, but that also works as a terrible thing. All right, Will, what is your? He went way weirder than I expected, but what is your finisher?
Alright, so get the guy in the middle of the ring and then up on his knees or standing and stun him, or have him
What?
stunned beforehand somehow. Like,
Up on his
so,
knees or
like, when
standing?
they're just standing there a little bit, so the other person can like do a
So
trick to them.
you
or
got him.
whatever.
You got him groggy in the middle.
Yeah.
You got them set up for a 4-poster. That's good.
Yeah, and then get up on one of the posts and then do a forward front flip kick into their chest.
Like, are you axe heel dropping them into the chest?
No, let's say like side kick.
Man, that seems like that'd be really dangerous. But all right, good. That's a good.
Yeah.
What's it called? You have 10 seconds.
I don't know.
Come on, man. Robert, what's the name of your move?
The Cisco Slammer.
But okay. No one got slammed though.
Because
I mean, he gets
yeah.
slammed into the desk.
Oh, like do you slam him into the desk?
Well, like I slam the desk into him.
Oh, okay, I get it.
And then I think the Star Trek thing I'm talking about is why Cisco is the best captain.
So what was the name of yours, Will? I thought you said something.
Let's go with the meteor kick.
Meteor kick. Good one. It's those front flipping meteors killing the dinosaurs.
Yep.
So Robert, I see
Did
the
it.
only problem is what if you put someone in that move who has very strong opinions on who the other best captain would be.
I mean, that's when things get intense and crazy.
What is, because now everyone basically has 2 finishers. What is your secondary finisher to counter them countering your finisher? What's your 5-knuckle shuffle to STFU?
I don't know. You're really catching me off guard here.
Just like in a real match. This is a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
This isn't a house show. Anyone can take the title or the retarded person hanging above the ring.
Oh man, I was doing so good on the improv here, and then running out of improv juice. But,
You got to improv into the ground, Will.
I know. And I can't just like Kirk chop him. That's too cheap.
Sometimes, hey man, sometimes that's what you got to do.
Sometimes that is. Okay.
Do you put them in a rubber lizard suit first, though?
Yeah, that's true. Man. Okay. All right. So they're pulling out a counter on me.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I got to do is pull out the lawyer Picard on them.
I don't know what that means, but I'm excited to hear what it is.
Well, that's just because like Picard is famous for like lawyer scenes where he'll like super lawyer people into stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I got to figure out how I'm setting up the lawyer Picard because I haven't figured out that far ahead yet. I just had the idea that like if you're in a match that you're losing, you got to go lawyer Picard because lawyer Picard always wins.
Oh man.
But I need like I don't know how I'm gonna set it up. It's tough.
It's fine. It took Tiger Mask 3 episodes to get his finishing move.
Was that the wrestling anime?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty good
Man.
for what it is.
It was fun to it was fun to watch.
It is, yes, it is fun to watch, but it is not like, oh man, these characters are the best.
Okay, so for the lawyer Picard, I have to lure them into. So like obviously they're still stuck in the desk.
They're still
But
obviously still
They're
stuck.
still stuck in the desk, but they're now like standing up with the desk wrapped around them.
Oh man, that seems uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable, but that's like they're arguing back, and
This move is designed to perform emotional dots on them.
yeah. Oh my God, that's it.
Uh-oh.
All right. Okay. So they're standing up in the desk, and that's when they notice a rope that's been hanging down from the arena the whole time that they just didn't see before. And
Okay.
I pull the rope down. I pull on the rope, and it turns on 4 enormous bright spotlights.
Okay.
And then I like go up and I slam their desk back down, and I'm they're like sitting back down again, and I like slap them 5 times, and I'm like, how many lights are there?
Oh no.
And they say there's 4 lights. And then I just keep slapping them until they and tell them no, there's 5 lights. And I'm gonna keep doing that because they're still stuck in that desk. They're not getting out.
No,
They're trying
trapped
to stand
there.
up and argue, but I'm not doing the lawyer Picard anymore. I realize that's the wrong move.
Uh-oh.
I'm doing the Cardassian torture.
Oh.
The
That sounds way more
Cardassian
like a
torture
wrestling move.
interrogation. Yeah. And so like anytime that they try and argue against my point, it doesn't even matter because I'm not arguing from the reality. I'm telling them that there's 5 lights even though there's only 4 lights. And if they give me any sass, I just slap them around again. And then we just like do that for 3 or 4 days, and they don't get to eat any food, and I sit there and eat in front of them and just kind of beat the shit out of them until they admit that there are 5 lights.
So this isn't really so much about ending a match, but more about like ending a career.
Yeah.
Okay. Remind me never to get into the ring with Robert. So William, what happens if the meteor kick isn't enough to put them down?
Okay, so let's say that the person dodges so that I would probably end up falling onto my back in the middle of the ring.
Okay. Now you are in the worst position imaginable in a wrestling match.
Yep.
Okay.
But before they can get away, you do a leg sweep into a figure 4 leg lock.
Oh man, that's some technical shit right there. How would you figure 4 leg lock the wheel skeleton though?
The wheel skeleton?
Yeah.
Just put a leg through one of through one of the spokes and then over, and the other one just like over the middle of it, and then just go from there.
I feel like you would end up breaking yourself on the breaking wheel. Those are 2 of the best anime matches I've ever heard in my life. The match of the teleporting mystery baseball and the giant monkey, and then that time Will punched a wheel.
Yes.
Those are going to go down in the annals of history.
Yeah. I mean, who's your anime wrestling partner? I at least got
Who's
that
my
much.
anime wrestler? Well, I'm gonna just pick Saitama, and then I'm gonna go home.
Yeah.
If I had to pick someone, I'd definitely pick Moomin Rider of anyone, because we're gonna put on a good show. I like where his headspace is at. I feel like we'd get some really good hot tags, where he'd be being who am I fighting?
Sea King.
Just Sea King? Oh man, is this a handicap match?
I mean, Sea King was pretty strong.
Well,
right?
because I guess what I'm about to say now, I'm gonna die. I guess in the next 5 seconds. Is like there'd be 2 parts where a hot tag, for those you guys wonder, is a tag from a losing team to their rested member that then flips the momentum of the entire match into them being the winning one. You normally see it where the one in the ring has been getting worked over pretty hard, and then they like start slowly climbing their way over to their ally, and the ally's like leaning over the ring like, come on, slap my hand. And Deep Sea King would just be holding Moomin Rider by the bicycle, and he wouldn't be able to get away, and then he realizes he can get off the bicycle, and then he'll dive forward and slap my hand, and then I'll get in, and then Deep Sea King will hit me with the bicycle, and I will die.
No.
I get bicycle Owen hearted, and then they don't allow bicycles into the ring anymore. Oh, that was another dark one. Man,
At least you're not on a zip line.
put me up against Deep Sea King right out of the bat.
Yeah, that's unfair.
It's all right,
pretty
man.
tough.
I've if me and Moomin Rider just have to keep cleaning up the locker rooms as jobbers. That's just the life sometimes. I am sad that it wasn't until recently. I guess it wasn't. There was a period in my life where I wanted to be a professional wrestler because it seemed really fun. But I've not felt that way in a really long time. Because I love donuts. But I'd always thought, like, oh, being a wrestler would be pretty cool until we watched this last week tonight with John Oliver.
Yeah, that was a pretty sad ep.
That was just like, yeah, you don't actually work for the WWE. And I was just like, oh, man. I would have been pissed if I worked so hard to get in, and then it's just like, oh, these are the working conditions I'm in. Oh, another thing I did appreciate from Ready to Rumble, going back to that, which was another reason I really liked Salmont, whatever the fuck his name is. I keep forgetting his name. The old dude. Is his character harkens back to the dungeon owners of the 80s, which in early wrestling, they still have them now. There's like these really intense wrestling boot camps, which are called dungeons, which are usually just like a dude's basement, where this old dude would just take like Shawn Michaels and Owen Hart and just beat the shit out of them in his basement to teach them moves, and then they would be able to learn how to wrestle. So I'm sure it wasn't as comically goofy as what Sal does to the King, but like from what I've heard about wrestling, that is actually a semi-accurate thing. Is when you're going to like get big into wrestling, you go to a dungeon. But now those dungeons really aren't a thing anymore because now they just have actual big wrestling schools. Like all the people who funnel into WWE's NXT program just come from like regional schools, and there's not like, because I want to say it's in Canada, but there is a dude, like, I can't remember his name, but he has the dungeon, and he has taught so many like big name wrestlers, all of the Harts, Shawn Michaels, all these other big like technical wrestlers, and they're just like, yep, you're gonna lay down today and I'm gonna hold you in a figure 4 leg lock for 2 hours. So, Will, who gets Casca at the end of your match?
Guts does.
And how did you die in the middle of your match?
Griffith just kind of hurricane running me over the top rope out of the ring.
Oh, you died by flopping?
Yes.
That sucks. That's not berserk at all. Fair enough, though. That's the subversive nature of the anime medium. Is in the show about people with giant swords with demonic laser powers. Sometimes you die by a stub in your toe.
I stubbed my toe this week so hard that it broke the toenail.
Ow.
Like, right in the middle of the toe.
How far is it broken down?
It's like I'm gonna say a third of an inch down.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I've had that
I
happen a
guess I
couple
kind of
times.
just gotta let it heal, hopefully.
Yep. Those things you just don't trim super deep, but do keep trimming it so that way your body will keep growing out the nail.
Yeah.
At least that's what my podiatrist did when I broke my nail like that. Just be careful to watch it. No blood starts just seeping up from your nail bed.
I will keep an eye on that.
But all right, we're at 9:30. I know it's not fair to ask Will because you've said so much, but do you have anything else? Like, do you have any? I don't want to wear you out, but I just want you just looking at you from here, I can tell you're just full. You're full of everything.
I don't know. I kind of wish I had seen the second half of the movie. The gas station part was pretty good, so I imagine the big wrestling fights would have been much better.
You are correct.
They were pretty dope.
Will, you want to drink some more punch after we're done?
No.
Okay. How about you, Robert? I really appreciate you letting me just kind of wrestle jerk
Yeah, it's
off for
been
2
fun.
hours.
I've had fun. It's been a good time.
That's good. We had 5 people at one point, and I got to hear some music by Bobo Osef. So that way, when he hits those charts, I'll be like, I was there, supporting him.
Indeed.
He didn't drop us a follow though, so that was a bummer. Oh man, we're at 103 followers. Twitch, I guess, just updated its format today or something.
I wondered why it looked weird.
Yeah.
It looks really different now. I don't know why why the talk show and podcast thing gets the IRL tag, because it's always IRL.
Yeah. That is weird, because I associate the IRL tag with people who are like going around
Mm-hmm.
and doing shit. But
I don't know. And then the always wonderful Mr. Perp was here, dropping mad emote game.
indeed.
But anything else before we start the closing down process, gentlemen?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I don't have anything.
Excellent. Well, what do we want to watch for next time? And
Well, I was thinking, so next time will be the first, we're like getting into October soon. I know I had thought it would be kind of fun to do a mix of maybe some like good spoopy movies and then also some hilariously bad ones. I know I've been excited, and my recollection is you had expressed some excitement for Halloween 3. But I think I don't know. Did you have any thoughts?
I mean, I'd watch, because didn't you say Halloween 3 has nothing to do with Michael Myers? It's all like a weird.
Yeah.
What was it about? What were you saying that made me?
It involves someone stealing Stonehenge.
That's what you said, because you said something, and I was just like, what the fuck?
And it's like, it gets so much dumber than that even, but I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil how dumb this movie gets.
That's fine. I'm just going to see if I can find. Watch Halloween 3.
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
It's on Amazon to rent for money.
Halloween 3. Halloween.
Wait. Oh. What? It looks like the whole movie is on YouTube.
Is what? That honestly would not surprise me.
But like, there's a weird like sepia tone font like thing over all of it, and all of like the audio is fucked up.
Oh, so it's like someone illegally put it there and then has kind of like changed some things so an algorithm won't catch it.
Mm-hmm. Is this a place where I can watch it? It looks like it. Okay. Yeah, it looks like you can watch it on Google. Alright, yeah. Okay, we can do Halloween 3, because the one after this one, because this Friday is when Joker comes out. This upcoming Friday.
This Friday or the next one?
The next one. It's October 4th.
Okay.
So if we wanted
Yeah,
to...
we'll have to... Yeah. Well, I guess will it come out Friday evening?
Mm-hmm. So it would be the day after our podcast, so we would do it the next week.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can do that. I don't know. The time that I would most want to go to the movie theater would be like Friday afternoon, but
Oh.
um
That makes sense. Well, if it's on Friday, it would be Friday all day. It would air Thursday at noon. I mean, at midnight.
oh,
So it would be
gotcha.
available Friday day time.
Okay.
At least it should be. I don't know why it wouldn't be. Just be careful for all of the suspected incel violence.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Well, you could at least dance for us or something. No, like get up and dance.
I don't want to stand up right now.
Okay.
He's stuck in a desk
Oh no.
because we're in the middle of a wrestling match.
How many lights, Will?
Surprise. 4 lights.
Oh no. See you in a few days, William. I'm gonna drink the rest of your punch.
Okay.
Alright, so we'll watch Halloween Machine for Pigs or whatever. And did you have a second topic? One related to video games or anything?
I remember I'd thought of one, but then I forgot to write it down. Did you have an idea?
I had one that I'm not sure if you'd want to do it, and the other hand, I'm not sure if we've actually already done it. Is getting more specific, is doing sort of a game jam thing again, where we build our dream character action game.
Yeah, that sounds like fun to me.
But and our normal rules apply, except for you're like, I want a character action game that has randomized moves. I will yell at that immediately and be like, no, Robert, you're wrong.
Sorry, a lot of that last sentence rebutted out for me.
No. Oh, I was gonna say when we do our normal rule of instead of saying no, that's dumb, but just keep building off of it. If you were like, I want a character action game where all the moves keep changing with all the buttons, I'd be like, no, that's wrong. It's not how you play those games. But I don't know, I was just thinking about because all of like Platinum's stuff went on sale on Steam, and I was just like, oh. I was really tempted to get Bayonetta, but I'm just waiting for Evan to buy it on Switch.
Yeah,
Speaking of cool
Yeah.
Switch games,
I like
so-
both of them. I think 2 is my favorite of the Bayonettas, though, which
I haven't
is a
played
Switch
it yet.
exclusive.
Well, it was also on Wii U.
Yeah, that's true. It's a Nintendo exclusive.
Yeah, but if you like JRPGs with turn-based combat, which I think you've said you really hate, so I'm not sure if this will be up your alley, is Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition S.
Well, I played it on PlayStation 4
Oh, you did? Never
when
mind.
it came out. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I love turn-based combat.
I know. I know you do.
You're just memeing me.
I'm just memeing you. I forgot that the thing we had talked about it actually is
Yep.
I guess there's just a bunch of cool extra stuff, and I'm hoping that those improvements come to the Switch. I mean, to the Switch, to the PC version, which Square Enix says they're thinking about just releasing all of the other stuff as like an upgrade to the game. And I was like, oh, I want that. But all right, so we're gonna do Halloween 3, Season of the Bitch, and build your own character adventure game.
I'm excited. I think this is gonna be a good episode.
I'm gonna be really mad if they don't steal Stonehenge.
They'll steal Stonehenge.
Yes. All right. Well.
And when you find out who stole it, you'll be like, "What?"
Oh no. Was it Lawyer
Don't worry.
Picard or was it Wheel Skeleton?
Ooh. You'll have to watch and find out.
Well, in honor of Robert, we're gonna raid into this guy Seaward playing Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Haha. It's on my top 10 games list.
Really?
Mhm.
Interesting. Well, I just
I
want to
like
say
that game a lot.
I one day hope to play it. I want to say thank you to everyone who stopped by, and
Indeed.
biggest
And to our one YouTube viewer.
and to our one
We
YouTube
love
viewer. They actually have not watched our last one, so
Oh no.
they know that we were watching them watch us, and they were like, nope. But biggest thanks today to Will, who powered through to be here today
Yep.
I was glad you were here.
It
to
was fun.
champ it out and MVP it with insightful commentary and crushing artistic analysis
Yep.
and just top shelf back and forth rotation in a chair. But yeah, tomorrow will be. Oh, I just realized I changed this while we're still live. Whoops. Who cares?
Did.
No one's watching. Tomorrow will be possibly the last entry into Evil Within in the morning. So get done with that, and then we'll move into Sanic. Ugh.
Because you can't play it anymore because you'll just keep throwing up.
Yep. Oh man, I should just throw up live.
No.
I think that's actually TOS. You're not supposed to throw up on stream.
Well,
I
I
could be
didn't-
right on that, but
I'm gonna Google it. Can I throw up on stream, please?
please.
Is vomiting on stream against TOS? It's a pretty gray area of whether or not throwing up. If you just happen to throw up, it's fine. But they're like, some people are like, if you're eating so much because people are donating to you that you're throwing up, fine. But no, if I just get motion
Gotcha.
sick from this giant pile of video game garbage, then that's fine.
Fair enough.
But all right, so that and then some more Borderlands. I almost said BL lands, but that's a different thing if you go to certain websites in the Japan. And we'll play some more Borderlands now. It'll just be a good day. Good day. Hope to see you there. Onward to Seaward. Maybe, I don't know. I love you.
Perhaps.
I love you guys.
I love you too.
Love you too, CJ.
SK.